What is up, my pleasure babies? Welcome to a Monday's episode. And what is on this week's menu? Well, the ultimate guide to sex in the water. So this includes your pool, your hot tub, the ocean, the sea, the shower, anywhere there is a running stream of that warm, cool, room temperature water. And how can we have the best sex in the water? But first, before we get started, I want to take a second here to say we are at 39.5 thousand subscribers. Now, I know there are some of you that are not subscribed to my channel that watch my shit almost every week, but I'm here to ask you, what are you doing? Subscribe. Please help me help you. Subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And if you do really enjoy it and you think somebody else can benefit from listening to me talk about sex and the good shit, then please share my videos. I want to extend my reach to everybody out there so that if they're struggling or they need somebody to talk to openly about sex, then you clearly need to follow Pleasurebhabiee. And like, I'm here telling you, like, come follow me. Let's hit 40K. Here we go. All right, so now that I'm done advertising myself, let's get into the video, which is exactly what you came here for. So back when I was really new to sex, I always used to see these hot, steamy shower scenes or pool scenes where these teenagers or young adults would be having like really hot sex in the water. Now that I know a little bit more about sex and I've had sex in multiple different bodies of water, I've come to the realization that sex in water isn't really amazing. Sex outside of water, right by the water, is amazing. Because when you do have sex in the water, it does come with a little bit more difficulties. And by difficulties, I mean, well, lubrication. So your hair might be wet, your skin might be wet, they might be wet. However, your vagina is not going to be wet. This is obviously because the water washes away the natural lubrication of your vagina, okay? It is now leaving her or it, your vagina, sucked dry, washed out, not feeling nice at all, which definitely can cause some uncomfortability, some tearing, some chafing. It's just not as pleasurable. Now, just to state some things that some of you might not actually know, you can still get pregnant in the water. You can still contract STDs and STIs. Now, in some cases, all of these things might actually be increased, but nonetheless, that is no reason for you not to try sex in the water. So let's get started with some straight facts so that you guys know what to do and what to expect when you are fucking in the water. So what a better way to start than with the number one myth. Chlorine is gonna kill the sperm. That, my dear, is not true, okay? If you get dumped in while you are in the water, whether it be a pool, an ocean, or whatever, that sperm is still alive, okay? It's gonna only live for a few minutes, opposed to if it were in your anus or if it were in your vagina, then it is very much alive and can live up to 5 days in a woman's hostile environment. I mean, obviously, if your anus gets dumped in, that's not gonna really matter because that's not gonna get you pregnant. But the sperm is definitely still gonna be kicking whether the chlorine was pushed up in you or the salt water was pushed up in you. So yeah, you can still get pregnant in the water. Now, don't be scared that if somebody ejaculated in the pool or the hot tub that you're swimming in, that those sperms are gonna be swimming around and come and get you and they're gonna impregnate you and then you are gonna be pregnant by a stranger. That is definitely not going to happen. The next question that has been asked is, can I still get an STI in the water? Well, yes, it is exactly the same as dry land. In fact, you're more susceptible to tearing from the lack of lubrication in the water, that it actually increases your chance of STDs, because obviously if there's a gash or a chunk or a shred or a slit or a fissure in anywhere in your genital areas, well, that's just an open door for those bacteria, for those infections and those sexually transmitted diseases to hop on in and get inside your little bodies. So you want to be protected. So the same what you would do in dry land, you're going to be doing in wetland. And that also goes for pregnancy. So where does this take us to? First off, you want to examine your partner. And I mean that in the best way possible. But you should also be asking for their background of sexual history. And this doesn't mean how many partners have you had? Please do not ask that question. That is a fucking toxic question. We need to stop asking that, okay? What you can ask though is, when was your last check? When did you last get your STD check? When was your last panel? Do you know if you're clean? Anything like that. And those should not be offensive. If they are offended when you're asking that, you should be asking yourself, okay, well, clearly you've never been tested, and it is my business, because we're about to get personal. We are about to have sex, and I want to be protected just as much as you want to be protected. So you wouldn't want me to have the chlamydia and be giving it to you, and vice versa. I just want to know that you are clean and you are safe. I don't give a fuck if you have had them in the past. I just want to know, have you had one recently, and do you have something actively happening? It's really not that hard, and you really, really, really need to ditch your judgments. With that all being said, you want to be safe, so just use the barrier method, such as condoms. It's really not that hard to wrap your shit. But I will say this, you can't be mad if you catch something and you never asked or you never tried to wrap it, okay? Learn your lessons. Unless that motherfucker lied to you, because that shit ain't cool, and that's illegal. Now, I'm also gonna crush another myth upon STIs since we are on this topic already. Have you ever heard that you can get an STD from being in a dirty hot tub? Or maybe you can catch what was ever left on that toilet seat? Well, I am here to tell you, absolutely not. Now, this is something super, super, super simple, okay? In order to catch an STI or an STD, whatever you guys want to call it, you have to have skin-on-skin contact. Also, on top of that, are you directly exchanging fluids? Are we having sex? Oral, anal, vaginal? Think about it, okay? When you sit on a toilet seat, is any of that happening? No. So, who thought of this craziness? You're fine on that public toilet seat. One thing you should keep in mind and should really, really be cautious about, and at least if you're aware that I did everything that I could do, is UTIs and bacterial infections. Because when you are having sex in any type of water, whether it be a lake, an ocean, a hot tub, a pool, what comes in all of those bodies of water? Bacteria. What happens when we are having a penetrative sex is little tiny micro tears, little abrasions, all of these things that can happen bring down your barriers and let these things get into your bloodstream and into your body, which are now making you more susceptible to infections. And I'm just gonna say, it's not just UTIs, it's bacterial vaginosis and yeast infections. Those are the three most common that you can get while having sex in the water. Our last question, just for safety precautions, and then we will go into how to have good sex in the water, is, are condoms good to use in the water, and do they work? Now, I mean, the condom manufacturers obviously aren't testing them in the water. However, you might want to bring a few just in case one like floats away or it rolls off. Now, first we're gonna cover the basic penis and vagina type style of condom. Okay, so with that, obviously the condom manufacturers have not tested them in water or in chlorinated water before. So this is gonna be at your own risk. Now, with the lack of natural lubrication that our bodies are producing, like I said, it's gonna increase friction. Now, friction on that thin little piece of rubber is going to give it potential and a little bit more grace to tear. So you always want to have a backup, and you always want to be using a silicone-based lube, because water-based lube is just going to wash away, and this will actually keep the lubrication on the condom and in the anus or the vagina. So all of that being said, the best option for protected sex, especially if you are a penis owner with a vulva owner, so you are going to be using a female condom. That means this condom goes up inside of you. So girl, you should probably be putting that in before you enter the hot tub, before you enter the pool, before you enter the ocean. Because where are you gonna store it, number one? Number two, we were gifted this pocket of gold, so you can just put it up in there beforehand. And if you use it, great. If not, don't forget to take it out. But if you do use it, you also need to take it out too. But the reason why we recommend putting it in, not in the water, is because you're not taking all that water and pushing it up inside of you and letting it just chill in there. We are trying to create a barrier. Pretty simple. Now, into how to have amazing sex in the water. If that is possible after you just were like, Miranda, you tore that to pieces. I don't know if I want to do it. Whatever, you need to experience this on your own. I was just giving you the knowledge so that you can be safe. But our first rule is protection, okay? So now that we have our protection in and on, we are going to go into lubrication. Lubrication. We are not going to be using a water-based lube. We are going to be using a silicone-based lube, because why would we use water in the water? That just makes no sense. Our natural lubrication is gone and the water is just gonna wash away. So we are using silicone, and because it glides better with condoms, less room for friction, less room for air. Now, if you're having sex in the shower and you're using lube, please, 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 please be safe, because it is going to be a slip and slide. So use a little and go from there, and be safe. Maybe add a non-slip mat. I don't know. And if you're having sex in an open body of water, whether it be a pool, a hot tub, a freaking, I don't know, an ocean, a sea, make sure there's no people around. Those people just don't need, nor do they volunteer to explore or adventure in with you. And yeah, you just gotta be polite, and that's also illegal. So make sure you view your space. I have one big recommendation, and you can try having sex in the water and then let me know what you think in the comments below, if it's for you or if it's not for you. But try this, okay? Do your foreplay in the water. Maybe like a little bit of fingering, making out, a little bit of dry humping, neck kissing, really getting it nice and hot and steamy, and then taking it outside of the water. Because a lot of the time, sex just feels a lot better on land than in water. And yeah, it could be personal preference, but I've heard this from a lot of people. So if you feel the same way, or if you disagree, the comment section is there for a reason, okay? And it's not to chew me apart, telling me that I'm annoying, I'm loud, and I just want the facts, and blah, 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 all the other horse shit you guys say to me. I'm like, hey, where are the nice comments? My phone only notifies me for the mean ones. Why do you hate me, phone? Why? YouTube, why do you only send me the negative? It's like you're trying to test me, right? I don't know. But if you are watching this still and you have any recommendations for anybody else, that is also what the comment section is for down below. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, because every single Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time is when I bring to you the video of the week. And this week I start something really, really, really cool. So I am taking a sexual embodiment course, a sex coach course, and a relationship coach, okay? So this is gonna take me about a whole year to go through. However, I'm super, super excited to be on this journey and help you guys out some more. So now that I'm $13,000 in debt, I hope I learned something. But yeah, I'm doing this for you, and I'm also doing this for me, but I'm doing this literally to help people bridge that gap between orgasm, to bridge the gap between communications with their partners. I'm trying to make sex more talked about and less shamed and less shunned. This is something that we need to be teaching our children. This is something that we need to be teaching each other. And I'm just, like I said, trying to bridge that gap with communication. So if you are all for that and you support it, support me by subscribing to my channel. And I will see you next Mondays, babies. Mondays. I will see you next Monday. Anyways, I love y'all.